We're just two friends who love the movies, call each other every morning.
All right, man. So we have quite a bit to talk about. And FYI, listeners, tomorrow's episode will be covering the Golden Globe nominations. Yeah. So, Mitch, let's get right into it. What were your thoughts on Jay Kelly, man?
Well, I'm very excited about this movie. I was excited before I watched it. I was excited while I was watching it. I'm still excited after I watched it. I said a month or so ago on our episode where we were talking about Best Actor nominations that my man for the job was one George Clooney. I know that's a wild card. I was happy to see, talking about it tomorrow, I guess, but I was happy to see he got a nomination there in the Globes, but then again, I guess everybody did. Um, that's what I don't like about the Globes so much. But I know he's a wild card. He probably won't even get nominated. But when I saw this movie, I just wanted to double down. I was so excited to see a movie star on screen, having such a good movie to be in, such a good role, giving such a charismatic and moving performance. Everything for me was working in this movie. Uh, I like the direction. I like the script. I like the cinematography. I like the music. I like the performances. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever been a movie where George Clooney is nominated and wins for Best Actor, I mean, it has to be for this film, you know. Um, in the movie, he's playing the last, what do they call it, the Golden Age, or I don't know what exactly they called it, but the last true movie star within the world of the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of the things I loved, and I don't need to go quickly into like spoiler territory, but as you know, getting into spoilers a bit towards the end, whenever they're him and Adam Sandler, which I thought was very, very moving. You know, where it's just him and that's the only guy he has. You know,
Yeah,
uh, where they're sitting there, they're actually showing footage from all his previous films, so it does hit a lot harder because of that fact. You know.
I like that too, but I thought it was funny because he Baumbach did this risky move of casting someone to play a younger version of George Clooney in flashbacks. And then when you see his previous filmography,
Yeah.
that guy's nowhere to be found. It's just younger George Clooney. But it works in
Yeah,
the film.
it works in the film. It wasn't jarring for me. Yeah, man, I thought this movie was just a delight, man. I had a really, really good time with it. I think it's over 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, but I didn't feel the length of the film. I know I always talk about runtime, and I with this movie, I was like, oh, okay, is it just gonna be him? You know, this well, not midlife crisis, but him like this existential, you know, where he's trying to like, who is he? Who is Jay Kelly? You know, they made it deep enough, but it was very entertaining and it was very funny and it was very moving. I thought Adam Sandler did a subtle, like he was very good here, man. I don't know if he'll get an Oscar nomination, but I do hope so. At least to make up for Uncut Gems, you know.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know if he will either. I think there was a lot more talk before the movie, but he gave such a subtle. He did right by the movie by giving the performance he did, rather than trying to dig for a performance that would be more flashy and that would probably get him a higher chance of getting a nomination. But it's nice when filmmakers write roles for particular actors for a lot of reasons.
yeah,
This was obviously the case here with Clooney, and they had a lot of talk about how he just plays himself, and you have that acting instructor early on that was like, "Do you know how hard it is to play yourself?" It's kind of like an apologetic for, Clooney's career over time. He
yeah.
doesn't ever really do anything transformative, but he always brings a lot of uh, pathos.
Gravitas, right? Like he
Yeah, gravitas, and he, he was so good here, man. It was so tender. I don't think Laurie read. I think somewhere that like Brad Pitt was originally in talks for this. I don't know if that's true, but like, can you imagine? Like that would throw the whole thing. And a lot of times it's unfair to say, oh, this actor almost played this because when they switch, if that was the case, then they usually do rewrites and stuff to make it more for the person they've cast. But I just thought like the thing with Clooney is you can almost feel that childlikeness to him, that sincerity. I just he was so good here.
Yeah, I do think that it would have been a completely different movie. I don't think it, to use your word, I don't think it would have been as tender if it had been anyone else other than Clooney, you know? Um, and I loved all these movie moments, right? The whole
Hmm.
movie moment in the train, the whole movie moment whenever they're talking and he says, "All my memories are movies,"
I
you
knew
know?
you're gonna love that line. Best line in the movie.
Be, be,
And I think we both can relate to it,
yeah, because
in a
he's
different way, not from being in them, but from watching them.
yeah, from watching them in that like where he's talking about it and he looks back at a time in his life. Oh, I was shooting this movie at that time. You
Right.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so
And we,
it's the same with us. We look at our lives, our timeline, right? Oh, that movie came out during this time, you know.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that scene really really did hit hard, and then I knew you were gonna love the scene at the very end. You know, can I have another? You know, I,
Well, it's like it's a little bit on the nose from a writing perspective, but it
exactly.
works because it's so pure an idea, and like the setup is there at the beginning of the movie, the setup is there midway through the movie, and then the payoff is there at the end. You could almost have seen it coming, but it still works. Like it's still so powerful, and it's
I
more like Baumbach is writing himself into the role. He's written the role for Clooney. You get the sense that Sandler's role was tailored to him. It's kind of like this guy that was a superstar but is like a family man also,
yeah.
like those two things intertwined.
So I wanted to mention two things. First of all, I did have some disappointment in the fact that the female supporting characters weren't really fully realized. The only ones that I did enjoy were the daughters. I thought the scenes with his daughters, I thought they were quite good, especially Riley Keough, um,
Was she the older one, the
the older
teacher?
one. Yeah,
She was great. The younger daughter, I don't know who that was, but she was amazing. They were both really good. You're right to
yeah.
point out.
Both of them were really good. Maybe it was intentional that they just told Laura Dern and Greta Gerwig, which it was weird seeing Greta Gerwig again.
I miss her acting, really.
I do, but she was just very she was just there.
Yeah, I
I
know, but there's a lot of characters like that. Like Fisher popped up for 30 seconds, but that was funny too. How they like made a gag about Ben Affleck essentially, right? Oh, with this Ben Alcott character, and they said
oh
like
yeah.
he ran away with the nanny and like all this random stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I did like seeing Patrick Wilson in that
I
role
don't
right
like
there.
him, but
I do. I like him. He's not the best actor, but it goes leads me to my second thing that I wanted to talk about, dude, is that I don't know how the hell Billy Crudup didn't become a major
oh
movie
my
star. My God, man.
goodness.
I
Okay, so you're pulling out the old Roger Ebert line about credit, but here's the thing. His scene in the movie haunted the entire rest of the movie. He was so great.
dude. And then when you realize when they go back in time, right? And I did love the whole transitions, right? I love the whole where he's they going back in time where he's going into another set or he's opening
Hmm.
the train door
Yeah,
and then he
they made
steps
that all
into.
seamless.
Yeah, I thought that was very very well done. But
Another time I liked that they did it was when he was talking to his daughter on the phone, and then they put her there in that sort of liminal forest area with him, and then she just kind of drifted back into the phone. Even the audio was going from one state to another. It was really good.
yeah, I think this movie is going to be overlooked in terms of like the technical aspects, right? Because
I
it's
hope
so
not.
it's like seamless. But Billy Crudup, man, wow, wow, dude. I would be more upset if he didn't have his Emmys. But if you haven't seen him in the morning show, he's playing a completely different character. But my God, man, this guy, like I said, like Roger Ebert said, man, I don't know how this guy did not become a big movie star.
Well, and that plays again into the. I think there's a little bit of that reputation, maybe because Ebert said that, but that reputation plays into that character because that was the experience of his character. You know, this truly mesmerizing actor, but it's just got overlooked, never made it. Obviously, that's not really true of Crudup, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
just he should have been a more household name.
I love that scene and how it just kind of permeated through the rest of the movie, even though that character doesn't seriously pop up again as Crudup. It's just one sad moment later when they're talking about how they cleaned up the situation with the fight that they had and that they were able to kind of blackmail the guy essentially. And the Clooney's like, no, 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 don't do that. He's my friend. And you're like, no, he's not. Like he's not. You don't have anybody. He's like every relationship in his life is dead or dying, and
Yeah,
it's man.
I did love the fact that it wasn't. It was a Hollywood ending in that they showed all his past movies. He had his best friend there, and then the people from the train showed up. But I love
Yeah,
the fact that his daughters didn't show up.
yeah, I did
It
too.
could have been an easy where they end up surprising him, but no, they have their issues with him. Nothing was like he went through a lot of change and he learned a lot, right?
But
But
nothing was resolved
nothing
necessarily.
was resolved, you
Uh-huh.
know.
He's like,
Um,
this is 35 years of my life. It's got to have meant something.
yeah. So overall, man, I really dug it. I thought it was a very good movie. I'm not in love with it as much as you are. I do have my minor complaints about it, and it's something where I just while watching it, I kept thinking I'm really liking this. This is very good. There's a lot in here that I love, but for me it I don't know, there was something holding it back from becoming like a best movie of the year contender for me, but that's just
Hmm.
me. I texted you. I knew. I was like, Mitch is going to dig this up. He's going to absolutely love it. um, but my score for it would be a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that's where I'd land too. Although I think I like it better than you. Whatever stars they're worth, I'll give it 4.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm glad we were able to talk about Jay Kelly. What was something else you watched, man?
Let's see. Well, over the weekend, I we showed Chloe The Sound of Music.
Nice. Okay.
This was a Best Picture winner, a musical, a perfect, a perfect movie. Truly, like I couldn't believe, like every scene was beautiful, every song was incredible, the way they weaved the music throughout it, the story, the characters, Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer's performances. I loved everything about that movie, and I was so happy that Chloe loved it so much. I got to see this on the big screen one time in the Alabama theater, and that was an amazing experience. And I think this movie it makes you remember like there's been I would just say this, Sam. You and I both love La La Land, but I'm just like, is that even a real musical beside this? I know they're doing different things there in
Yeah.
different times, but my goodness, it's just like in another universe of quality and timelessness.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching The Sound of Music in school for the first time, and
That's funny.
for that's a classic, for sure. To match you going back and watching an older film, I rewatched the movie Big with Tom Hanks. Look, man, if you look back and you really like, it is kind of a creepy movie, right? But my God, Tom Hanks gives one of the best comedic performances in the history of movies, man. I love that movie.
It made him a superstar, yeah.
It made him a superstar, man. The whole piano scene.
I
But
haven't seen it since I was a kid.
dude, I really recommend you rewatching it, man, because one of the things, and it's like almost all of us did it at the same time. It was, my all my family, my brother had came over and he was staying with us, but we we all agreed like the whole. I don't know if you remember this, but the whole old school neighborhoods,
Uh-huh.
it just looked like the suburban. It just looked very comforting,
The
like there was,
burbs.
yeah, there was just something about it, man. Maybe it was the
But
color of the trees. I don't know, but
it's kind of interesting, like from 2000 on, like the suburbs became like the villain of movies, and like they get painted in like this kind of creepy Stepford Wivesy kind of way. Or if even if you think of something like American Beauty, or, I remember I saw the TV Glow came out last year, and like they had this line about, what is this is crazy chaos, and the guy's just like, he's just the suburbs. And it's like this, like now they're like the picture of some kind of hidden, malevolent David Lynch villainy, but whereas they used to kind of evoke comfort and peace and what all.
yeah, like I was just thinking about oh my gosh, the one with Colin Farrell. Oh, what's it called?
Colin Farrell Suburbs movie.
Yeah, it's a vampire movie. Fright
Oh,
Night, Fright Night.
I didn't see that one.
Like I know that's a little more extreme what you were talking about, but I get what you're saying. At one point the suburbs were just this very like basically heaven, right? Like everything was just picture perfect.
Yeah, this is
But
the
then,
dream.
yeah,
Happy days.
this is the dream. This is the dream. So I texted you this past weekend. I had watched a movie. I told you not to read up on it, and I'm not going to go into any kind of spoilers at all. But I just wanted to mention it quickly for the listeners because I do think it's a movie that it's a lot of people are going to really love it, or a lot of people are going to really hate it. And I love movies that are very divisive because they bring in conversation. This movie is called Cloud. It just got a big release here. Well, it just was really released here in the States in 2025. I've already seen a lot of people put it on their list. Mitch, I know you love gambling movies. And all I'm going to say is this is a gambling movie, but not in the way that you would expect. And there, there, there is there at by when you do watch it, because I'm urging you, please watch it because we're gonna have to have a big conversation on it. By the end of it, you're gonna be your mind is I could not sleep. The director is he's famous for making horror movies, and there is an
It's
eeriness.
Kurosawa.
Okay, you know the director then.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is an eeriness about the movie, right? But I could not fall asleep that night, dude. I just could not. I just kept thinking and thinking and thinking. I was like, what the heck? And it really is a mystery box of a movie. So, Cloud, I think I haven't been that uh, on the edge of my seat in a movie all year. I was literally like, oh, I'm just going to put this on, watch 30, 40 minutes of it. Dude, I stayed up till like 2 a.m. in the morning watching it and then just sitting there thinking about it. Um, I think it's one of the very best movies of the year. Once again, I just want to just make sure to mention it's not going to be for everyone. There are going to be people that are going to love this movie, and there are going to be people that absolutely hate it.
It's
And
not for people who want to get a good night's sleep tonight.
I, yeah, I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that, Mitch. But yeah, it's easily one of the best movies of 2025.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I've got some more things I could talk about. I'll just plug one more movie before we hop off the horn. Another thing that we showed Chloe, of course, it's the holidays, so we're getting a little into that mode. We put on Shop Around the Corner for her.
Oh,
My goodness, this movie, it just holds up. Every moment is a little snack. I love Jimmy Stewart in this movie. He's really great. Whole great cast of supporting characters. Just takes place in this leather goods shop in
yeah.
Budapest, apparently Hollywood's Budapest, and it's just a beautiful movie. And Chloe really liked it. Although with Sound of Music, she was like, "Can we watch Maria tonight?" 'Cause it's a very simple name of the protagonist. But with this one, it was like Mr. Kralik and Ms. Novak and Mr. Maracek, and so it was a little bit harder for her.
Well, dude, speaking of Tom Hanks, you had the remake, You've
Oh
Got
yeah,
Mail, and
yeah, you said it.
which is very similar but very different. Both are very entertaining in their own way. And Mitch, I would say that we have the Jimmy Stewart one to thank for all these Hallmark movies, don't we?
Maybe. So I don't know
Dude.
if I want to put shoulder the blame of all that. I mean, this is like it's like a play. It's very like very witty, very well articulated, very clever
Yeah.
script and everything. So, I mean, if it's devolved into Hallmark, I don't want to blame Stewart and Co. I think it's Lubitsch that makes this movie, Ernst Lubitsch. And yeah, actually, you mentioned You've Got Mail. Nora Ephron makes that, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and I love that movie. There's actually one in between them. There was a musical remake with Van Johnson and Judy Garland
Yeah.
called In the Good Old Summertime, which is maybe why it was forgotten because they forgot that they needed to set this sucker at Christmas time. No, it's very good too. So yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so before we end, I just wanted to just I know you haven't seen it, but I'm just gonna, quickly mention it for a minute or two. I got to watch Hamnet. Um,
Oh yeah. What is that?
Dude,
I've heard of that.
so this is the new Chloe Zhao movie. It's gonna be a big awards contender, man.
Get a
Dude,
Globe nom. It
oh
get
my
the Globe
gosh.
nomination for best musical or comedy.
That No, it does not. It's best drama. Oh man, look, man. I When I was walking out of that theater, I kid you not, there was not a dry eye in that theater, not one. All I was hearing was, and although, look, Mitch, although I didn't fully cry, I did get very emotional and I did get very teary eyed. This is probably one of the more beautiful and devastating movies that I've watched in 2025, and I think it's ridiculous, right? That all these people are calling it emotionally manipulative. Because when I got out of that movie, I was like, what movie did they watch? Like, there's no way. This movie is just so well made, dude.
Hey,
It's
movies, that's what movies are. They're emotional manipulations.
I know, but people were I'm talking some. I was reading up that some people were just bashing this movie. I'm like, dude, this movie is so well written, so well directed, and Jessie Buckley, man. Oh my God, man. She's the front runner. She's the front runner, Mitch.
It,
I think it's her year. She's gonna win Best Actress.
what you're saying reminded me, I'm very excited to watch this movie, and it makes me happy that you liked it. Like you're talking about not a dry eye in the theater. My dad always tells this random story that it's of going to see the movie Love Story with Ryan O'Neal. Do you
Oh
know
yeah, yeah.
that? He tells the story of going to see that in theaters and how like everybody was sniffing and there's tissue all over the floor when everybody left. I think that's so funny, man. And sorry, I can't remember Ryan O'Neal's co-star. I felt bad about. Also, can't remember Jimmy Stewart's, but I think it's Margaret O'Sullivan or Margaret Sullivan from Shop Around the Corner. We've got to get better at remembering people's names.
I know,
Um,
dude. I know. I should just have all the movies pulled up here, but
well, yeah, I
sometimes it's
guess I could like look down on my phone and start Googling, but I don't want to sound smarter than I really am.
dude. And just to add, Paul Mescal, he deserves Best Supporting Actor nomination, but the one
Hey,
that
good job
impre-
remembering his name.
yeah, the one that impressed me the most, man, was the kid that played Hamnet. Oh
Oh
my
wow!
gosh.
So we got
Wow.
a good child performance, huh?
Yeah, and what's amazing about it, dude, is that he's actually the little brother to the older guy that plays Hamlet at the end of Hamnet. So
Interesting.
yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. So
Yeah, nice touch.
yeah, it was a very nice touch, but overall, loved Hamnet. Keep in mind, just remember, bring your tissues because it is going to be an emotional film.
Is this
Um,
the Kenneth Branagh version? Or
no,
oh, it's the Olivier version. Okay.
no, it's Hamnet, not Hamlet.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
completely different.
It's
It's not
like
the same,
a an updated suspense version. Is this the one with Ethan Hawke then?
dude. I know you're just pulling my leg.
Hey man, have a good day.
All right, I see you.